There was a forest, black as midnight and thicker than thieves. It was a favorite route for many, but suffered from highwaymen and robbers, and so it was that 4 travelers found themselves needing to rest for the night, but fearful for their lives and possessions. They were good friends, and 3 of them had been so for many years, and so after discussion, they decided to take turns to watch around the campfire. They settled down, and the first watch went to a carpenter and wood sculptor. He sat for a while and then noticed a small length of wood, and so decided to pass the time carving a beautiful image of a woman. By the time he had finished, it was time for the next watch, and so he placed the wooden lady down and woke his friend. His friend was a tailor, and after a while he too noticed the piece of wood and decided to make some clothes for the image of the woman. He produced a dress of silk and finished off with small leather sandals. Now it was time for him to sleep, and he woke the next man, who was a jeweler. Again, to pass the time, the jeweler decided to adorn the little figure with beautiful jewels. The final watch was summoned, but this time, the man, a new friend the others had met on the journey, had no skills at all, and so felt very ashamed of himself. He saw the wooden lady and admired the art and craft of his new friends. He wanted to show that he too was capable of improving upon the wood. He decided the only thing he could do was to seek the help of God, and so he prayed. O Almighty and merciful Lord, give us some portion of your glory, and as the giver of life, bestow upon this humble figure the gift of life. And so the fire finally went out, and all was dark. All was one black place. Then the sun rose and crept across the landscape, revealing the countless forms that had been part of the darkness. One of the forms was now new to human life. The wooden woman was a living, breathing creature. The 4 men, now awake, were aghast and in awe at their creation. The woodcarver admired the contours. The tailor was gushing with pride at the serene silken dress, and the jeweler thought the fine gems were full of inspiration. And yet the 4th man claimed the upper hand for himself, because it was he who asked God to provide the life force. In truth, the 4 men, who just the night before had been friends, were now sworn enemies, each one claiming ownership of this thing of beauty. And so, because they could not decide who owned the stunningly moot female, they made for the nearest town, where they sought out the judge. Unfortunately, the judge and the townspeople simply thought they were fools, and so sent them to see the king. Again, the king, thinking them to be fools, sent them to the Sufi master, who this time took all 5 out to see the tree of knowledge, and with an assembled audience began to ask the tree for its wisdom. Not long after the Sufi spoke, the tree opened up before them, and as if by magic the young lady walked towards it and was swallowed whole. They never saw her again. She returned to the place from whence she came, just as we all shall. It is the unity of the cycle itself. Not only are we part of the whole whilst in this part of the cycle or that part of the cycle, we are the one, before and after, and always shall be. As cosmic dust, solar rays, and universal energy feed our planet and us, so too shall we ourselves return to the cosmic dust. And the fact is, we never left, for there is no tomorrow, no yesterday. Neither truly exist. The only place in time and space that exists is now, and that is a slice through the whole. We are no different than the wooden woman. We came from the one, into the one, and so we are the one. Who is it that thinks they can form us, dress us, and then give us life? Nobody owns us. To own is an anagram of now, and in the now we exist. Your family, your town, your school, your friends, your employer, and even your political or religious leaders, they all claim ownership at one time or another. And yet not one of them owns you just because they taught you, gave you life, gave you reason, clothed you, or employed you. No ruler rules you. You are equal to everybody and everything else, and no matter what another gives you, it does not empower them above you. Be strong, for you are one. Every man, woman, and child is a star.